Hi everyone, Gemma here. Thank you for watching today. So we're going to be making this gorgeous wedding card. I think it's turned out absolutely stunning. I was inspired by Marta Debika, and I believe Marta was inspired by Jamie Rogers. So this is my take on the project. So you've got sort of these two pillars and the frame. It all folds down flat. I've got a lot of bulk to mine because of the flowers and the various elements. And it stands up like so. It's got this really sort of nice top and bottom frame then with these two side pillars, all that gorgeous detail with the flowers and all the sort of the greenery and the silver sprigs. So no specialty dyes are required to make this. I have got some decorative elements in terms of the frame and on the circles, but you could leave that sort of without the decorative frame. You could add a square, a rectangle, a diamond that you can cut by hand in the center here. Nothing too complicated, it's quite simple to put together. So let's get into the tutorial. The main die that I'm using in today's video is the Card Making Magic Circular Box and Card Builder. So you've got this lovely sort of frame detail with a cutting edge on one side, and then you've got these circular with the sort of the same edge and the decorative elements to it. So that's why I use this quite a lot, because I like the sort of the shape and the detail into it. For the pillars, you need 2 pieces of cardstock that measures 5 by 8. You want to score at every inch on the 5-inch side, so 1, 2, 3 and 4. So score both pieces. I'm going to bring in my guillotine and I'm just going to take a little slither off one of the edges. So about 1/16 of an inch, just to help when we attach this together. Fold and burnish along the score lines. All the folds are mounting folds. Then fold 2 of the panels back on itself, and I'm adding collal glue all along the sort of the middle panel. So you've got left, right, middle, and then fold the other side over. Just going to give that a good burnish because I am using the collal glue, so it gives it more pressure, allowing it to grab. And then fold it back and just add some more pressure on that side. Then we've got our pillar piece. So you want to do that for both pieces. Both my pillars are now prepared. I've got some mats and layers. So along 3 of the sides, I've got these longer pieces in pink and white. And they measure 3/4 of an inch by 7 3/4 in that lovely pale pink. And then in the white, I've got 1/2 inch by 7 1/2. So if you're going to do it like me, you want 6 pieces of the pink and 6 pieces of the white. And then I've got 2 additional pieces that are shorter, because when we add the frame to this, a lot of it's going to be covered up, and I thought it would add bulk to the sort of the top and the bottom section, but it's entirely up to you. You can cut 8 pieces of the longer measurements if you prefer. These measure 3/4 of an inch by 5 3/4, and the white piece is 1/2 inch by 5 1/2. So 2 of the pink and 2 of the white if you're going to follow the same measurements as me. So what I'm going to do is attach the mats and layers onto the pillars, and I'm going to leave the shorter side or the shorter piece off for now. Until we assemble the rest of the card, I'll add these on at a later stage. So looking at the pillar, I've got my join here at the back. So if I stand that up, it's here. So I'm going to leave the left hand side free of the cardstock on this piece, and then add the mats and layers to the remaining 3 sides. So that's for the left pillar. Then for the right pillar, I've got the join here at the back on the right hand side, and I'm going to add my mats and layers to the front piece, the side piece and the back piece. And then this right hand piece, again, I'm leaving free. So I'm just going to go ahead now and attach all of those together. So I've added the mats and layers to both the pillars, apart from those 2 areas that I said I was going to leave off until the end. I'm just going to set those to one side and allow those to dry. Next, we're going to work on the top and the bottom. So I've got 4 pieces of 10.5 by 1 inch. Along the 10.5 inch side, score at 5 and 10 on all 4 pieces. So it's 2 for the top and then 2 for the bottom. Just fold and burnish along those score lines, like so. And then what you can do is just take a little wedge off this tab here, just so we don't have any overhang. So I've got an additional piece here, and I'm just going to attach these together to form a square. So I'm just adding a small amount of quick grab glue. Quite a lot come out there. I'm just going to add that to the other tab at the same time, not to waste it. And then just line those up and attach them together. You can flip it over and give it a burnish, and then fold the 2 other sides together. Make sure that they all line up and you've got a nice square piece. So now we've got the frame for the base. I'm just going to do exactly the same then for the top. I'll talk you through the additional elements, and then I'll go off camera and just prepare the rest of the pieces. So using that lovely edge die, I've cut 4 pieces. So they're going to go behind, if I just fold that in half, they're going to go behind these panels, like so, to add some strength, but also add that decorative edge. So I've cut them slightly larger than the 1 inch strip. I'm going to trim that down. So basically when you, I'll show you my prototype that I did. So on this one, as you can see that the difference between the card, and I didn't want to do that. So it's up to you if you want to cut them a bit shorter, but I'm going to do it so it covers the whole panel and then you don't see the join in the cardstock. Apologies if there's any background noise there. My laptop is closed, but it's still sending me alerts. Yeah, so I've got 2 pieces of these frames then to sit on each side, or on all 4 sides. So if I just pop those in there, you can just sort of see where I'm going with this. And then I've got some mats and layers, so I'll give you the measurements of those, and then I'll come back to you when they're fully assembled and we can start to attach all of the pieces together. So I've got 8 pieces of pink cardstock that measures 3/4 of an inch by 4 3/4, and the white piece measures 1/2 inch by 4 1/2. So we're going to have the decorative frame behind, and then the mats and layers just over the top there. So I'm going to go ahead and attach all of those together, and then I'll come back to you. So I've got the top and the bottom now prepared, and we're going to start to attach these pillars to the base and then the top. So I'm just going to add a little guide on the panel so I know where to attach the pillar. So the middle point is 2.5 inches, so I'm going to mark at 2 and 3, so I know where to then place this panel on this piece. And I'm just going to flip it over, do the same on the opposite side, mark at 2 and 3, so I know both pillars are the same on each side. And I'm just going to add some glue just along this area where the pillar will sit, just as a rough guide. So I'm just attaching the left hand pillar within those guidelines that I've created. If you put the base on your desk and then add the pillar, you know that they'll marry up. Then just add in some glue to the opposite side and attaching the other pillar in the same way. Use the base of my desk to guide that. So if I turn it up, you should have the frame looking like this. I'm just going to do the same then for the top. So move that out of the way. Just going to mark with my ruler and pencil again. And then what I think I'll do is just put the top piece on my desk, flip this over and place it on top. Marry those pillars up within those guidelines, and I know that it's equal on both sides, but it's also flat. Just going to give that a moment to grab. So we've now got this frame. When I've done the final decoration, I'll lift my camera up a bit more so you can see it all in shot. So now that we've got the frame, I've got some decorative elements to add to the front, using that gorgeous circular piece. Got multiple layers there, one for the front, and then I've got the same then to go on the back. So the shape marries up and they'll attach. So I've got a place then on the back to write a message and the front for decoration. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on each side here and attach those to the pillars on the front and back. I've got a sentiment to add here, and I've got some gorgeous florals and other decorative elements to add to this. So I'm just going to go off camera now and decorate this and come back to you with a final card. So when you're doing this, you don't have to have a circle. You could have a diamond shape, a square, rectangle. You know, for this for this card base, you don't necessarily need any dies. Obviously I've got my decorative frames, but you could, if you've got punches, you could use punches. You could just have a rectangle or a straight edge rather than the decorative piece. So there's so many ways of making this. So as I said, I'll be adding glue just a little bit there, and then attaching that on the pillar. So nothing too complicated there. So I'll come back to you when it's fully decorated. So there's the final card. I forgot to mention that I've added these panels as well. So I just lifted this up slightly and tucked that in underneath. So it's reduced on that bulk that is attached to the pillars. I think the flowers look absolutely gorgeous. I just love the sort of the stand element to this. So obviously it does fall down flat like so. It's quite a bit of bulk to it. You could reduce the size on this, but I'm gonna maybe keep it in its upright form and add a little gift bag to it. So I'll just show you that detail again a little bit more. So you've got that gorgeous embossing, those beautiful flowers made of flower forming foam, and then all the sort of the greenery and a few bits of silver sprigs. If you've enjoyed today's video, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the like button. It does help and support my channel to grow, and it's very much appreciated. If you're not a subscriber, maybe you consider subscribing to the channel. If any of the products used in today's video are available, I will list them in the description box below. Hope you have a lovely crafty day, and I'll see you in the next one.